Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we're taking a look at a new build that I've come up with, and it's essentially a body swap sacrifice tech, except we're using a Widow Hell and a Scorpion's Call, which is interesting. So the gist of the build is you do huge damage with ignites. So we have two sources of huge ignites. We have stacking maximum life of our minions, and these are perfect dart marionette minions. What this allows you to do is when you use body swap sacrifice, it deals fire damage based on their 34% of their maximum life. So in this case, we stack tons of minion life with the Adorned Jewel, and this allows for huge hits with body swap of sacrifice. Not only that, we get 200% more area of effect when you consume the minions, and amplify that with the Scorpion's Call. So we have that explosion, and then we have Hinokura's explosions from the Chieftain, and it just makes for a huge explosive mapping experience, I could say. If you see in the video I'll show here, you can see how the proliferation just chains across the map, and it even chains off screen. That is how good it is. And with this ring, the Barracks of Spite, it gives that same ignite. So whether it's a Hinokura ignite or a body swap ignite, that same ignite is going to spread across all the enemies in the area, which is massive damage and just incredible clear. Now when it comes to single target and bossing damage, the build does really well. It does really well in all aspects of the game. So I'm going to be taking this to complete all of my challenges and whatnot. First off, it's really tanky. You're extremely tanky on this build. We have suppression spell cap, we have a little bit of overres, and as we level up we can get more overres by getting some of the maximum resistance nodes. Once we complete our chest, we want this just to have +2 or +3, I think it is, that you can get. We can get this to +2, I believe. So that would be 5 from our chests, and boots I believe we can get either 5 or 4 total. And then we can get some from our passives tree as well, which we could grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in 5 skill points we could grab those. So we would probably have to give up something to do that. We'd have to rework our tree once we hit level 100. But nonetheless, the build is really tanky, very explosive damage, very good mapping damage. So I would say this is a very good overall all-around build that you can play. Now when you're bossing, of course, you can do the lazy way. You can use the cast while stunned, or you can take the cast while stunned out and just cast manually. The other option, since we are playing a Warlock, you can go Penance Mark and hope for the Hinokura Ignite to explode from the little monsters that come out of that. Or you can just cast it manually, or you can also use the Maw of Mischief. I've been finding that the Maw of Mischief is a great place filler here. It's kind of up to you how you want to play the build. I've been testing Maw of Mischief and I really like it. It just makes the overall flow of things very smooth, so I don't have to switch out a lot of equipment when I'm playing. So you could just you could do swaps, swap gear from your inventory into your equipment, however you want to do that. A lot of the gear that I did craft, I didn't craft these. I believe someone told me that these were crafted with fossils, some kind of fossil craft. So when I bought it, it already had the suffix on it. So I just used Eldritch currency to recraft the prefixes that I wanted. And of course, we can still have room to fix these and get better rolls on everything. But I am out of currency, so I'll probably be doing another hit of runs later tonight once I make some sales, try to get the energy shield and the life on there a little higher. On here, I pretty much like what I have here. I have all the suffixes here. We could try to re-roll the 2 prefixes, try to get a higher energy shield and life roll. That would cost a little bit of currency to do that. For the rings, you have several options for the rings. You can go Magic Find, so you could use 2 Parias or 2 Ventors, whichever you prefer. I prefer to just stack the quantity because we get a lot of rarity from the wisp and things of that nature. Ultimately, when I get enough currency, I do want to get a quant amulet. That'll replace the ashes for mapping, and you reserve the ashes more for bossing, because this just adds a ton of damage to your body swap of sacrifice with the ashes of the stars, and just overall buffs everything on the build. Now, if you find yourself having trouble with survivability, maybe you don't have this level of gear yet, you can use Defiance of Destiny, and this will keep you alive very well. Another option is to use a rarity amulet. Well, a quant amulet. This is a 10 quant, so what I'm saving up for is a 20 quant. So if you want, you can use this in place of these two and just go for maximum magic find. And you can even swap that in and not care much for the proliferations spraying about. You could actually just use this from the glove and not worry about this one. Now, of course, you're not going to get the huge explosion that you see in my video if you're not using this ring, because this ring is a big part of that, wiping everything out very quickly with that one gigantic ignite. Now, of course, we do use the Mage Blood. This balances out our resistances and our armor and our life regen. Now, of course, you could use, other belts in regards to this if you don't have the Mage Blood just yet. If you do go that route, you will have to gear differently, and you have to make sure you get your resistances capped and everything, and whichever way you can. Now, for the belts that you could use, you could probably use Abiscos for magic finding. What else are some other good options? If I didn't have a Mage Blood, I probably would just use Abiscos. Just for mapping experience, because, or I would just use a Stygian with the resistances and some more minion life. For a flask, we do use a Cinder Swallow. This is amazing because when you consume an ignited corpse, you get more charges, you get a little bit of rarity, and we recover life when we kill an enemy. So we have a lot of life regeneration, we have a lot of life on kill, and it's very rarely that we do die on this build. Even though we are not crit resistance capped, we don't have any reduced extra damage from criticals just yet. But I seem to be surviving just fine. Ultimately, I probably would want to get a little bit of reduce critical damage just for simulacrums, and if I'm going to be doing like 10k wisp, I don't want to get one shot by huge critical strikes. But we try to keep our life up pretty high and our defenses, just so that it prevents a lot of the one shots that could happen. Some of the quivers you can make, I've tried crafting a little quiver. I found that you can get area of effect with Warlord. So you can get 15%, so it'll be just a little bit less, but you could get life, chaos resistance, and strength and dex, or just high dexterity on here. Whichever way you want to craft that, and you get a little empty slot that you can use. Rear guard is great defensive option. So if you want to go super tanky, use this combination, and you'll never die with this combination. As long as you have your resistance and chaos res max, these two on, you ain't dying, bro. You ain't dying with these two, because you got max block with this. Like, you got max attack and almost max spell block on top of spell suppression. So if you have your resistance and max, chaos resistance max, with these two on, you will be super tanky. I mean, ultra, like unnecessary tanky. So the other option you can roll with is, of course, damage over time multipliers with more minion life. This will just make your your burst damage more juicy. So I would use these two, maybe a combination of these two or these two for invitation bosses, and maybe Ubers, things like that. You'd want to maximize your damage and your life and survivability. So I would probably roll with these 2 rings if I was going to do bossing. And I did craft those myself. So another thing with these gears is essentially how you craft these, at least how I did, is you find the item with the abyssal socket. Now you want to have as little suffixes as possible on these because you don't want to gamble and annul with your abyss socket because you can remove your abyssal socket. So what I did, I would find ones that have minimum suffixes, and then I would just re-roll the prefixes with Eldritch currency. And I did that for every single item that I found. I would just find the item with the least amount of suffixes and just the abyssal socket. Now I did try to gamble on some really nice abyssal socket items, and I ruined them because it removed the abyssal socket. I think I have one that had I got it really cheap, and it had like 6 lightning resistance and an abyssal socket. So I was like, okay, it's 50-50. I'm just gonna remove the 6% lightning, and it'd be a great item. Sadly, it removed the abyssal socket, but that's just how it is when you gamble. But yeah, that's the gist of the build of the gear wise. We also have some weapon swap for Frost Bomb. So if you're finding a lot of times you'll find in these maps super tanky rares with the wisp buffs and soul eaters and life regen, life leech. This is when you weapon swap and use your frost bombs on them so that you can dispatch of them quickly without them healing up. And I like to use this combination for my weapon swap just because it gives more damage. You get 97% more maximum life on your minions. It just means even more damage. Alright, so that covers the gear. So this is our passer tree currently. So since the video I posted, I have redone some of the tree. And yeah, so I was pathing upwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I had the option to go 1, 2, 3 here. So I took these off and I added elemental overload and 100 increased damage with hits against ignited enemies. And we also got rid of this padding here because we can get this in 3 rather than 1, 2, 3, 4. So that saved a lot of points. Now some interesting things with the Chieftain is I did get an Unnatural Instinct since I posted the build. Now the cool thing about the Unnatural Instinct is that with the Chieftain passive, this here grants you 3 strength but also changes notables to fire damage. Now the really awesome thing about that here is when you have all your magic jewels covering this area here, you are gaining 68 increased fire damage from these nodes. From each of these nodes. And you're also getting a little bit of physical, reduced physical damage, but we don't care about that. We just want the fire damage. So let's look at everything we get here. 68% increased fire damage, a little bit of life, 36% increased area of effect. We also get some increased skill effect duration. This is really good. We get some life regen, penetrate fire resistance, 127 strength. That is incredible. So from just using these with our Chieftain Ascendancy, we are getting massive amounts of utility from just this one little jewel. And you could try to figure out how you want to place this, how you want to build. I found that this was the best spot for it because you get the most benefits, right? Now you could opt for, you can still get the fire damage here. So you can still get the fire damage here. You would get about the same amount of strength, but if you put it here, you can get some movement speed. So you can get 9 extra movement speed if you put it here. You get a little bit of less spell effect duration. but you lose out on the area of effect. So you got to choose what you want to gain from it when you're playing with these. Do you want to gain movement speed or area of effect? And if you put it here, you're just not getting anything very good. So it's either one of these two slots that are the best ones. Do you want more movement speed or do you want more area of effect? With the Mage Blood, I don't feel like I need more movement speed. I feel like I got enough already. And yeah, you can kind of choose where you want to put it. If you put it up here, you can get some recoup, some life. If you put it here, you can get the mana reservation, some flash stuff. Not very good here. If you put it here, it's not very good. I mean, you can get some life. Well, not if you put it there. You can't put it there. If you put it here, you get minion stuff. Not very much good stuff there. So these are the two best spots I find. I don't know if it would work here. Maybe you could do some cheeky stuff here. Doesn't seem like it'd be too good there. But yeah, that's the passive tree. And of course, I'll link the POE in the description so you guys can kind of go over it. And you don't have to build it exactly like mine. Maybe you want to go Primalist. With the Warlock, the really cool thing about the Warlock is you get the Crimson Power, which removes all energy shield and instead gives us life for all the energy shield that we get. So we get massive amounts of life. Life reservation efficiency 50%. We also get kind of like blood magic, and then we get that blood magic here for 10 more maximum life, which is different from 10% life. Now, if you were to try, you know, you could maybe try getting some mana reservation somewhere. If you wanted to try to add in some more auras for your life, I have found that I don't need any auras, and if because I'm running Sublime, I prefer to do this route rather than adding any auras. This gives us another maximum endurance charge, and we get increased effect of our determination. And then we also pair that with Eternal Blessing, so we get 24% increased aura of effect on top of the 35% of determination. We get a lot of determination, and we also get some from here. So I mean, we're really juicing on the build. We got 52k armor, and then if we use Molten Shell, we have 58,000. And of course, you can get more if you use your armor per strength, because we are stacking a lot of strength currently. And yeah, for the jewels, we do use the Adorned Crimson Jewel. This gives us increased effect of all of our other gems. So as you can see here, we get more damage over time multiplier and more maximum life. And let's take example here. We get increased area of effect. You know, it just gives us a lot of extra benefits from these magic jewels. 24% maximum life, 47% chance to avoid bleeding. So you can just see how this stacks up. We have lots of max minion life. Lots. Not only are we getting it from all those slots, and then of course we use this here to get element immunity or their flask. Now you can use a jewel, avoid shock, magic jewel at 48% with the 126. It gives me 108% chance to avoid shock, but you don't lose out on one of your slots. We do use the blood notch with the immutable force. This allows us to recoup damage when we're getting stunned, which further adds to our tankiness and survivability. And I think that covers just about everything. Spell suppress capped, extremely high armor. You know, we have decent resistances. Chaos resistance, terrible. So chaos resistance is something that I gotta work on. I don't have much options to add it in. The best ways to get it will probably be rings or I would have to just replace one of these jewels with chaos resistance jewels. I would need 2 of them with the max roll of chaos resistance, so I would lose a little bit of damage, but I would gain maximum chaos resistance. So when I do simulacrums, I would most likely run the chaos resistance because I feel like we already have enough damage. Our night damage is already extreme, so I think it would be better to have chaos resistance and some life. So that'll probably be the next updates that I get to the gear. And I think that covers everything. Of course, the Maw of the Mischief. And that covers all of the details of the gear. Now, if you did plan on going Primalist or another Wildwoods Ascendancy, you wouldn't gear the same way, because I am gearing this way because of the Warlock Ascendancy, and that is why I use a lot of these energy shield based items. You could also probably go 4th Vow setup with Zibaku. Of course, you will lose some slots, but you will become also extremely tanky, and you will focus on maxing your chaos resistance. So you have a lot of options to play with this build. You don't have to go Warlock. You don't have to use this gear. I just like Warlock because it's really fun, and I just wanted to make the gear and make a build with the Adorned Jewel and make a really cool passive tree like this. And it's still a work in progress, you know, because I updated it before I made this video, because I saw some discrepancies. I was like, man, you know, I could take these off and just get these here, get some other stuff up here. But I think I've reached all of the jewel sockets that I can reach very comfortably. I'm not sure that I can reach anymore. Now, the only biggest updates would be voices. Now, if we got some voices, like maybe 1 or 3, we could probably save some points and use an extra jewel in these slots here. So we would get 2 extra jewels if we had a 3 passive or 1 passive. And I believe if we had 1 passive, we could actually get another 3 jewels. But that's like 3 mirrors. That's 3 mirrors, guys. That's very expensive. I'm not sure. Maybe you could run all passives. That'd be sick, right? Like hit all these spots, take all this all out. I probably would take all this out, and then you can just go into these and get more passives. Yeah, that'd probably be the big change there. But yeah, so far so good. Alright, I think that covers everything, guys. Of course, we show some footage of the build. Regular out and go maps are trivial, so always juice with this build. You always want to be on the brink of death, as I say, when you're farming on softcore. You know, I'm playing a little safer because I want to level, but we're after that Wildwood currency, man. Alright. Remember to follow and subscribe to the channel. Remember to like and comment. Let me know what you think of the build. Tell me what build you're playing. How's your league going? We have very high retention on this league for good reason. It's a very fun league. One of the best yet. Yeah, I'm just having a blast in this league, guys, and I'm just playing as much as I can. So until next time, guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, because if you don't know yet, if you've been watching, maybe you see my videos on Reddit, or you happen to come in every now and then and see, hey, it's that guy again. Guys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I make lots of builds like this. And hit that like for engagement and just get more people in here. The more people that get in here, that gives me more time to make more content for you guys, more builds. And essentially, you know, I always try to make a lot of cool, fun builds. You know, I try to find item combinations that nobody thinks of. You know, I'll be at work all day, and I'll be looking at unique items on POE DB I'll be looking at POE Ninja, looking at different skill gems while I'm at work, while I'm working, of course, you know, when I have a little downtime. And I'll be cooking and cooking during the day. So hopefully, you know, I would like to get to just being able to cook and build builds for you guys and just play the game and bring you guys great content and builds. Because I feel like in this game there's lots of build diversity, there's lots of hidden builds in the game. There's lots of weird combinations of items, and it's just really fun to try to find those and put those together and make some fun builds for you guys. And until next time, I don't know what else I'm going to cook up next for you guys, but we're probably going to do some more Adorned Jewel stuff. Try to push for achievements, and because with these Adorned Jewels you can do a lot of different builds with these. It's a lot of different stuff you can do, so we'll have to see. So subscribe to the channel, guys, and until next time, peace out.